and welcome to the program Issues and Events on Liberty Radio 91.7. This morning, I should be starting this way by asking you, how are you? And when was the last time you saw your doctor? Yes, I'm asking this because I really want to know about your health status. Are you okay? And to put it on a general note, are we all okay as Nigerians? What can we say about our health status? This morning on the program, we're looking at the health status of a nation, a reflection of our well-being. Now, we'll be talking about that with an expert in the studio this morning. I have Dr. Raymond Duru, stress management expert, with me this morning. Doctor, good morning. Glad to have you on this program.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes. Good morning to my dear listeners at home.
Yeah, it's been said that a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. Now, if we're going by that, how healthy are we, as a nation and as a people?
Yeah. I want to start by saying that our country, Nigeria, is a country that is divinely blessed with abundance of natural and human resources. And with the resources that we have, is enough for us to be among the countries, among the nations that are healthy. But there are a lot of factors that are meditating on we achieving these healthy states. You can reason with me that there are a lot of stress going on in our country. We've been passing from one form of stress to another, and this is really affecting our man-hour production. So I wouldn't say in totality that Nigeria is a healthy nation. No. The stress that we are passing through is really overwhelming, and it's indeed affecting our productivity as a nation.
We need to know about this stress that we are passing through. What are the stress that we are going through as a people?
Yeah, stress as an entity is very, very important to our human existence. Now, we will have a positive stress, and also we also have a negative stress. Now, but what is stress? Stress is anything that causes a strain or that causes a pressure to an individual. That is a stress. So, and it also boils down on how the individual receives that very stress. There are two factors that comes into play when we talk about stress. One is the past. The next one is the people. Now, a lot of people are under stress because of their past experience, because of the past events, because of past happenings that have happened in their life. And it keeps on haunting them. It keeps on tormenting them. While others are under stress because of the circumstances surrounding them. I said the second one is people are under stress because of family, are under stress because of the nature of work they do, are under stress in the society. So these are factors that comes into play when we talk about stress. Now, I want to buttress my point by saying that there are three things that are involved when we talk about stress. The first thing is the events. There can never be an event without people. The second one is the response. Then the third one is the outcome of these events. I mentioned the first thing as an event. Events could be so many things. It could be a positive event, it could be a negative event. When I say positive event, it could be, for example, somebody was promoted in his place of work. Number one, he has been promoted. Number two, of course, you'll agree with me that more work is expected. More responsibility has been given to that very person. It says, on easy lies the head that wears the crown. So eventually, more pressure will be given to the person. I used to have a friend who told me that he employed, he's a manager of a company, and eventually employed 10 workers to join the company. He told me that, Dr. Ray, you can see I've added 10 more stress on the stress I have initially. That means managing human is also a stress on its own. Now, let's go back to the 3 factors that comes into play when you talk about stress. Number 1, I mentioned the events. The events could be an occasion, could be a place of work, the event could even be a family, the event could be a husband, the event could be a wife, it could be a children. Now, the next one now is the response. The response given to that particular event tells a lot about the individual, tells a lot how that individual is going to cope with the stress, tells a lot if that event is going to make or mar the individual. Then the outcome, was the outcome on a positive note or was it on a negative note? These are factors that comes into play when you talk about stress.
Doctor, I'll take it from there that events have happened or are still happening in our lives, as people, and then we're responding to it, to these events from our understanding of how they come. Could be negative, could be positive, and then when you look at the outcome, what it has come up with, it shows that looking at Nigeria, in perspectives now, violence is there. We're talking about mind-boggling theft of public fund. You're talking about governance issues. You're talking about even as we are as a people, we're still thinking that there's need for restructuring. There's need for, some people will say, get out of the mainstream of Nigeria. So all of these happening in our lives and the way we've responded to them on matters of governance. What has this done to matters of governance?
Yeah, it's really saddening that we as a nation endowed with a lot of natural human resources, we are still suffering in the midst of plenty. I want to take, for instance, the health sector. We are having mass exodus of doctors from Nigeria, and the reasons are far-fetched. Stress. There's no good working condition. You go to the hospitals, most of them are just mere consulting rooms. No wonder most of our elites, each time they are sick, they end up traveling abroad for medical treatment. Common checkup that all time in Nigeria, most of them travel abroad. Now, I want to say that this word stress has really affected a lot of our activities. You could bear with me that we have a lot of cases of suicide. Now, these are the ones that have been reported. But I want to tell you, there are many more cases of suicides that are not reported because of the stigma. Many families wouldn't want to be identified that their loved ones has decided to die or has committed suicide. They end up closing it because of the cultural stigma attached to it, and many more are happening. Now, all these things are cumulative effect of stress. You could bear with me that in our country, for example, now you see a lot of retrenchments here and there. There's no employment. People are suffering. To even be able to have 2 square meals in a day is even a problem. I was in the market some days ago. I met a little boy who offered to assist in carrying my goods. I asked him, what about his parents? He said he lost his mom. That boy should be around 11 years old. Of course, by the definition of one organization, that child is an orphan. And I asked him, what are you doing in the market? He said he's doing doko alamajiri. And I asked him, what about your dad? He just burst into tears. I could read the language. I could read the facial expression that all is not well with this very boy. This would have been a promising boy. Only God knew what this boy would have ended up becoming in our country, Nigeria, where you can see he has become a victim of circumstances, something he never knew of. Now look at the way this boy is wasting his life. He's not educated. And of course, you know what that could mean. There are many more like that on the streets, roaming about the streets, doing nothing. These are agents that the devil will end up using in perpetrating its evil acts to our country. So it's really a very big problem in our country, Nigeria.
We need strong men and women to run this country, to run the engine of this country. We also need men and women who are balanced and who experts would say, yes, health bill is clean on them. Now, when you look at leaders, our leaders from wherever they come from and what they put out, to the Nigerian people, in terms of, as representatives of the people, what they give the people. Now, can you look at it that our leaders too, what level of, health bill would you give to them when you see some of these things happening? I want to take you on the issues of corruption. Billions of naira being stolen by an individual. What is meant for, for a state or a community is taken all stolen by, an individual. In matters of giving to the people dividends of democracy, the people are shortchanged. Now, when you look at this happening, the level of health status of even leadership, and then coming to look at the leg too here.
Yeah. I want to start by saying that the level of impunity in our country is indeed overwhelming. In terms of corruption. This is a disease or a cancer that's eaten deep into the fabrics of our nation as a Nigerian. Now, it's quite inhuman for an individual to decide now to embezzle government fund, leaving behind the people that he or she is supposed to govern. Now, this has indeed brought untold hardship to our economy. Now, we have so many youths that are moving around unemployed. I said initially that we are divinely blessed. Nigeria, among the Committee of Nations, is one of the countries that is divinely blessed with a lot of natural human resources. But the way our leaders are handling it is left a lot to be desired. Now, it's really a multifactorial problem in the sense that we, the government, also have our own parts of the blame too, not just the leaders alone. Yeah, I could give some claims to some of our leaders, but we have some that there's still much to be desired of their activities. There are times when you look at the activities, you feel that they need to be evaluated by a psychiatrist. But for one to just amass wealth that his third, fourth generations would never finish is something animalistic. It's something unheard of. And this is what has really put us in the situation that we are today, suffering in the midst of plenty.
So how can we have a stress-free society, so to say?
Yeah, there are a lot of factors that comes into play for us to have and enjoy a stress-free society. Number one, we must admit that the stress that we are passing through is becoming overwhelming. Now, there's an acute phase of stress. That is when the stress is there. You begin to realize that the stress is there. You're trying to see how you can be able to cope with the stress. Now, if you're able to meet up with your daily activities, your daily schedules, there's don't have any problem with that. That is a positive stress. In fact, some element of stress is needed for you to achieve your optimum activity as an individual. Those are the healthy stress. Now, we have another phase of stress that we call the resistant stress. That is when the work is becoming gradually overwhelming. You are trying to devise ways to cope with the stress, but it's gradually becoming overwhelming. The elastic limit is gradually being overstretched. Now you are beginning to find it difficult to sleep, despite the resistance mechanism you are trying to put into place. Now that is pointing towards negative stress. Then we have the exhaustive stress. Now this is where all defense mechanisms has been exhausted. It now became overwhelming that you can no longer cope. That is why the stress will now set in. Negative stress will set in. You develop insomnia inability to sleep at night. You are getting worried. You're going to have what we call attention deficits. You're becoming to have some deprivation of some things that you desire doing. So these are areas that you need medical attention, because the stress is becoming overwhelming. Now, in coping with stress, there are a lot of factors that comes into play. Number one, I said you need to realize that you are passing through undue stress. That is the negative stress, number one. Now, one, it's good for you to come out of your shield, because from stress, a lot of things could come in. Anxiety. I have a lot of work to do. I cannot be able to meet up. And I have queries here and there. I can't be able to meet up my targets. Anxiety will set in. By the time you close for the day, at home, you are busy thinking of the leftover works you have in your office. Now, these are factors that comes into play to cause the person to develop insomnia, inability to sleep. The person cannot be able to concentrate. Now, what we advise here now is this: try to take off time. Don't take much more than you can be able to handle. Now look at the situation. Don't just look at the situation. Don't change the situation, but look on how you can be able to see the situation in a different dimension. Now, I mentioned about you can see in a different dimension. The next thing now is this: exercise is another way that we're able to cope with stress. Exercise is very, very important. There are different types of exercise. We have the yoga exercise. We have the mind exercise too, the body exercise that will also help. Now, pair group could also help to try to have time to move around, meet friends, share ideas together, socialize with friends is very, very important. No wonder WHO they use the theme depression, let's talk, as their team. So you need to come out of your shield. You need to talk, because the only time people realize the pressure you're passing through is when you open up. Other people wouldn't know they are passing through stress.
Doctor, do we apply this in this recession that we are in? I'm talking about there's so much pressure on individuals, on family, and the community itself, trying to make ends meet, and finding it so very difficult. I mean, prices of food in the market. You've talked about, not able to get 3 square meals, and so how do we apply it to this recession that we're in?
Yeah, it's very, very important in the sense that the only time one realizes what an individual is passing through is when the person opens up. For example, the lady that committed suicide by jumping into the lagoon in Lagos. The doctor complained. No, the lady. I think there's a lady.
Okay, that was the lady.
Yeah, she complained that she was owing a lot of people.
Yes.
So because of that pressure here and there, she wouldn't be able to meet up. But if she had opened up to, for example, if she's a Christian, to the church, a Muslim to the mosque, or to the family friends, these are the problems I'm passing through, I believe people would have helped her, or even people would have helped her to talk to the person she is owing. But you see, because of the stress, guilt of stress within her, she just felt the only option is for me to take my life, to commit suicide. So we have so many of them. The only time you have to speak out, you're having a problem, you're having a challenge, you need to speak out. We have people out there that are willing to help, to assist the individual.
Is religion, does religion have a role to play in all of this?
Yes.
I mean, we are a religious people. We
Yes.
look up to God for solutions and all of that. So can we apply these, our religious beliefs, to come into, finding solutions to the stress we all go through?
Yes. Do you know, I was in New York some months ago, and there was this program, Oprah Winfrey?
Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah, in New York. So we're in the program, and the title of the program that very day was Believe. What do you believe? So they now try to carve away. They now try to carve in a way that what you believe is what you kind of practice. Now, there were so many religions. Christians were there, Muslims were there, Hindus were there. They got different types of religions came there. But they use Kaduna State as an example of
in New York.
Yeah, in New York, as countries where, as a state or a country, Nigeria, a state where there is a religious conflict, and they've been able to using dialogue to address the issue. In fact, they use Rigasa as I was shocked. In New York, they use Rigasa. I saw an imam, I saw a pastor, I saw the way they are dialoguing. Peace talk here and there, organizing peace talk, and that was how they were able to address the religious conflict that was within that very period. Now, there is a word I want us to expunge from our vocabulary each time we are trying to address this issue of religious conflicts. The issue of tolerance. No, we shouldn't be talking of tolerance. We should be talking of acceptability. As a Christian, how will I accept my fellow friend as a Muslim? How will I accommodate my fellow friend as a Muslim? Not tolerance. Tolerance has its limits. It has a threshold. It has an elastic limit. Once it exceeds the elastic limit, it will explode. And that leads us into conflicts, religious unrest, and other things. Maybe if time will permit me, I'm going to speak more on that. Now, back to my question. The religion, faith-based organization, plays a vital role. I have a female friend who's a Muslim that each time each time we come back from the church, she'll be telling me, doctor, why she likes the church is we go there, we praise, we dance, we do this, forget our problem. That's the way of coping with stress. That's the way of coping with stress. So I want to encourage faith-based organizations. They should organize programs, especially in the evening time after working hours, that their members, both Christians, can go to the church, listen to sermon, listen to speeches, listen to other things. Is a way of easing them of stress. The same thing with the Muslim community. Like during that Ramadan time, there are so many programs, and they spend more time in the mosque. It's also a way of easing them of the stress that people are passing through. So organizations like religious organizations, they play a vital role, and their importance cannot be emphasized. They play a very, very vital role. So if that could imbibe, I want to tell you, it will really go a long way in reducing the stress that we are passing through in our country.
Yeah, we religious organizations now, and again in this society too, that we begin to see when we look at preacher men who are up the ladder, doing well and all of that, chatting out in and out, and then you look at those the lead who are down there, the poverty ladder. You begin to wonder again the comparisons you make in all of these as religion as the hope of the common man.
Yeah, it's a very big challenge to us as Nigerians. Nigeria is the second most evangelized country in the world after America. It's the second most evangelized country in the world after America. And we ought to have, we are too religious. But then, when you look at our attitude, the way we behave, there are a lot of things. There's much to be desired in it. So I think it has to do with our followers. They need to reorientate their members for them to be one another's keeper. You go to, for example, there are some establishments where they have schools, but the ordinary member of the church cannot be able to afford his or her child to that very school. So it's not supposed to be like that. We need to assist the government in some of these things. Like for example, in New York, the school there is free. So on no account should a child be left out of school. So virtually every child in New York goes to school. In the morning, once the child is on uniform, the child transportation is quite free. School fee is free. So there won't be any reason why the parents cannot be able to send their child to school. So we should expect our country to do the same thing too. When our president came back, he emphasized on education. So education is very, very important to the development of any nation.
Now that you talked about education, just before we go on a break, again, the schools are there. The stress that school children, I mean, what they put in to get to schools. I'm talking about higher institutions now. The stress to get into the university or the polytechnic, and coming out again, knowing that just where are the jobs? Again, ain't this, part of, why the society is being stressed up?
Yeah, it's a very big challenge, a very, very big challenge. I quite agree with you. There are a lot of stress in even getting admission into the higher institution. This you can see what's happening to just mere jam registration. The stress the students are passing through. In fact, in one of the centers, while the students were on queue, one of the candidates collapsed out of fatigue. This is the stress we are talking of. Only God knew the last time she had a meal. Maybe maybe she didn't even eat. There was no meal for her for that very morning before she now came out to queue. So these are part of the stress that we're really talking of. So I think the government really need to have. In those days, we filled jam form right in our bedroom. There was no stress at all. So it's still possible. We should try to reduce some of these bottlenecks that are causing more stress to us. I think we have enough university. All that we need is, let's see how we can be able to equip this university to admit candidates. And we should try and maintain we should try to maintain the standard of these universities than establishing more universities. Thank you.
All right. This is an event this morning, and we're looking at health status, a reflection of our nation's well-being. And Dr. Raymond Duru, specialist or in stress management, expert in stress management, with us in the studios. We'll go for a commercial break. When we come back, we get well-being. And earlier in the program, I asked you this question. How are you? And are you okay? And we hear talks that a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. Are we a healthy nation? And of course, the consequences of that on matters of governance. Dr. Raymond Duru, stress management expert, with us in the studios this morning. We'll be taking your calls and the numbers to call to be part of the program.
Alright, to be part of the program, please dial the number 0906 1126 906. 0906 1126 906.
Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Okay.
Hello.
I can hear you here. Hello.
Hello. Good morning, Alabi. Hello.
Yeah. Good morning.
Yeah, morning. I'm Comrade Muhammad Amin Lal, calling from County Extension.
Okay, Comrade Muhammad. All right. I see you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. Let me commend our able doctor. He really talked wonderful regarding the stress and how we can cope with it. So I just want to ask him and to shed more light regarding the issue in our universities. I joined you late. I don't know, maybe you have touched on that, but let me ask. You can see in our universities, Nigerian universities, you find that Nigerian students offering courses that are not related or that are not necessary. See that offering 13, 14 courses. Compared to universities outside, you see they will offer courses 4, 6, So that will compound more stress on the student and even finding it difficult to graduate with good grades. And secondly, this issue of strike that also makes the program more long and put more stress on the student. So I want Doctor please to shed more light. How can our Nigerian students manage those all stress in the universities? Thank you very much.
Yeah, Comrade Mohammed, we got you on that. Stress in our education system, courses to offer, and how the universities or higher institutions are being run. Could this also be causes of stress? Now, okay, still more calls, right? Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, Professor.
Yes.
This is Emmanuel from Kaduna.
Okay, Emmanuel.
To be honest with you, Mr. Madi, this nation, we are in a problem. Why won't you have all this stress that you have when few people have honored the wealth of the masses, their own personal wealth? People find it difficult to give safe well milk, and it will give them hypertension, how to feed the children, how to feed the family. So all those things are another pattern of stress. Despite the fact of no good health center, a lot of them doing like this. I just hope that we have leaders that have us at heart, because in all these neighboring outside countries, they have made provision for people. Those that are not working will have it at ease. go to any supermarket, take what you want to, go to health center, there is provision for housing. But hours there, few people have just cornered everything to themselves. People are just suffering. That's why people committing suicide. The thing has become rampant. I just pray God will help us in this country, that He will give us leaders that have us at heart.
All right, man.
All this machinery in place.
We got you, Emmanuel. All right, we got you. Okay, we'll take one more, and then we come back to our guests in the studio. One more call. We come back to the studio. Issues and events this morning, and we're looking at health status and the consequences on governance. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Tony Alavi.
Good morning.
Hello.
Your name, please?
Hello.
Your name?
I am Bala on the line.
Okay, Bala. All right, let's hear you.
Yes, our doctor has narrated everything concerning their stress. But I hope and I believe, because all these programs will always say this. If the authority, if those people concerned, listen to them. I don't even know whether the doctor is working any of the first or private. Because this case is talking about, if you go to hospital now, go to Gomnawa, go to Morodiko, or come back to Sabo, you see the patients there. Most of the patients are high blood pressure. And because of what? Yes. Lack of they are talking of change in this country concerning the welfare of citizens. We are lacking behind. We are lacking behind. And if things continue like this, believe me, 2018 or 19, you will see a lot of every corner you go now is the somebody just sit down and and die. What is the cause? High blood pressure.
Okay, well,
and so on.
Our health centers not enough and not coping with people's requirements. Okay, so we come back to the doctor, Comrade Mohammed, Emmanuel, and Bala. And of course, in all of these, this is not saying that government is not, responding to the yearnings of the people with what government is giving out in terms of provision of health facilities and all of that, but it's not enough to go around, and what must be done all with that. So, doctor.
All right. Thank you, Comrade Mohammed, on your question. Yeah, I think I will agree with you. I share the same view with you that there, in our higher institution, there are so many courses that are not relevant. For example, in medical school, we were asked to read about the star and the moon. I don't know what has the star and the moon got to do with medicine. You that want to train as a medical doctor, I don't know what has the star, the moon, the types of rock that we have got to do with medicine. You see, in developed country, they focus straight to the course that you want to read. And that's why if it's going to be a course of 3 years or course of 4 years, you specialize straight, you go straight and become a specialist in that very particular field. Taking so many courses, subjects, doesn't really make us a better doctor. Rather, you end up not being able to concentrate, unlike what's obtained in developed countries. So I think I agree with you. So I want to call on the National University Commission to try and see how they can be able to address these issues, because it's really put a lot of stress on our students. And I also want to say this, because of this, so many courses that are being offered, some of students, because of this stress, even end up developing a psychiatric problem. I've seen several cases. So please, it's very, very important to look into it. Thank you. Then the next question was from Emmanuel on financial corruption leading to untold hardship. Yeah, Mr. Emmanuel, I agree with you. There are a lot of impunity, as I said initially. People embezzle, not thinking of what will happen tomorrow, not minding the citizenry that their future are being jeopardized with. This has really kept us in a very pathetic situation, that there are a lot of starvation, there are a lot of hunger in the country, there are a lot of stress building up, and that has really led to so many people committing suicide. So I really want to plead with Nigerians, especially those in position of authority. They should know that they are there for the sake of the people. People elected them, and people expected them to perform. So they shouldn't go there on their own interest to just for their own and their family's interest. No, they should also consider other people, those that elected them into those positions, because they are the ones that are passing through this untold hardship. Now, Mr. Bala spoke on the still on Regional Hospital having patients with high blood pressure. Yeah, this cumulative effect of stress. There's a relationship between high blood pressure and stress. In people that have high blood pressure, if they're overwhelmed with work, if they're overwhelmed with activity, that is where this event comes in now. And the response they give to these events, if it's not properly handled, it will get out of hand and it will exhaust that individual. And that's how the stress will now become overwhelming. It now start showing negative effects. And one of those negative effects you will now notice high blood pressure, especially if the individual has a family history of high blood pressure. So he or she is prone to develop hypertension because of the overwhelming stress that he or she is passing through. So I quite agree with you. So I want to plead on the government. They are trying, but I believe they could also do more by trying to alleviate the suffering of the masses.
Yeah, one of the areas too, Doctor, that we need to also talk about is matters that affect us as a people in terms of when we go for elections, violence again that we see, communal clashes that we see, and again conflicts that we see happening with us. Could this also be coming out of the stress that has built up in the people, and so wanting a way to explode?
It is indeed. These are cumulative effects of the stress that has been there over a period of time. You see, with the slightest provocation, people tend to react. Things that are nothing, that if we just smile over and just pass, people tend to react. And that has really affected the way we socialize in the community because of stress. Stress will lead to so many things. It will lead to so many things. In fact, it will lead to a lot of damage, destructions here and there. But the way we handle it tells a lot. I said, if you have a difficult situation, don't look at that situation. If you want to change that situation, you're going to put yourself into untold stress. But what you need to do is look at that situation in a different way. Don't try to change that very situation that you think is overwhelming to you, but look at it in a different way. If you're able to do that, then I want to tell you, you're going to achieve success.
Will that add up to say that we are very touchy people, angry people, and people on edge now because of the situation that we're going through?
Yes, I saw two different individuals the last time I traveled to New York, so I want to make a reference to that. They are relaxed. They are contented. They are very much relaxed. But when I came back, there was this hostility around. People are looking tense. Yeah, it's because of the stress. People are moving around with empty stomach. And this has been a cumulative effect. It has just been there from one form of stress to the other. They said a hungry man is an angry man. So that will also be what we projected during elections. Small level of provocation, people react in an aggressive way. That ought not to be.
Is it impossible for a human being to be stressed? I say this, yes, because naturally when things are not going right with human beings, naturally they get agitated or stressed. Maybe they're looking for something and they can't achieve it. Is it possible to be stress-free as a human being, knowing that your life can never be perfect? You can have it all. They say even the rich cry.
Well, I want to say it's not possible. For example, the office of the president has its own stress. Our senators, That office alone has its own stress. Our governors, that office has its own stress. Commissioners, the same thing. You as a traditional ruler, there's a stress that's attached to that very office. So the whole thing now depends on how you address that stress.
Stress management.
Yes, and that is why we need to be praying for those in position of authority. Now, for somebody to stay without stress, it's as good as saying that the person is a dead person. Yeah, you stay without stress at all. Some level of stress brings out the best in you. I know of a manager who travels around. I told him, come, are you not passing through stress? He said, no, that's I enjoy my work. So that's a positive stress. He's doing well and he's coping well with his work. So it's a positive stress. Now, if one stays without stress, it's not possible to say that the person is dead. Then if one stays with a very heavy stress, overwhelming stress, that overwhelming stress, if it is not properly managed, can kill that very individual. So we need stress.
Is that the reason why some people sleep and don't wake up?
Yeah, some people sleep and they don't wake up. There are some medical undertones. Maybe the stress was there initially, and this person is hypertensive, and he or she has already taken this medication, and with the cumulative effect of stress on the fellow, the person wouldn't know that his BP has shot to the roof, and the person might decide to go to the bed to sleep, and all of a sudden he will end up developing heart attack, and that might just be the end. And many have gone to bed, they woke up with stroke. We've seen so many cases like that. So these are cumulative effect of stress. So stress could be said to be an epidemic that is ravaging a lot of people in our society, and the earlier we address it, the better.
Yeah, okay. I just want to take calls again. Well, in a bid to distress as a person, is it possible that one could further indulge in activities that would further worsen the case of stress?
Yes, there are a lot of activities that could worsen the case of stress in an individual. Now, somebody who is under stress doesn't have time to eat, doesn't even have time to sleep, he or she is compounding his problem. Now, somebody who is under stress, he goes about, he smokes a lot, he drinks alcohol heavily, he's also compounding his stress situation. Now, somebody who is under stress, you see him overwhelmed with activity. You see him, he will pick so many appointments, at the end he can't be able to meet them. He has a lot of goals, at the end he can't be able to meet them. The fear of not succeeding is even a problem to that very person. So these are factors that comes into place that worsens the situation of the stress.
Okay, we'll take calls. One of you, two calls before. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. Okay, we lost that call, right?
Alright, quickly dial the number 0906 1126
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Senya. I love you again.
Yeah, good morning.
Kuma Mohammed Nadawo from Ghana.
Okay.
Hello?
With you, go on, let's hear you.
Okay, the whole of this issue about stress, to me, everything boils down to contentment. And you being able to really thank God for the situation you have found yourself in. Because most of the people that take into suicide or thinking of suicidal mission is because if they are really thanking God, they will not be doing such, because most people are even looking up to them most of the time. It's just about contentment. I think, and for you to be able to think freely and thinking that yes, there's a reason why you are in this life. God created you, there's a reason for it. And many people who think you are a source of livelihood to them, or you are that kind of person they are even looking up to. But most of the time, to me, everything all that I would say is about contentment and being grateful to God for even you being alive.
Okay.
But once you are alive, believe there is hope.
All right,
and I think there's a spiritual angle to it.
Right.
Somebody should be close to God. Thank you.
Thank you, Marlon. That contentment here. I can still take one or two calls and before we bring it to a close. We're looking at the health status of a nation, a reflection of the nation's well-being. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, doctor, just for... Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate the doctor enlightenment or lecture this morning.
Your name?
This is Sadiq.
Okay, Sadiq. Okay.
The angle I think is from his lecture is this issue of lack of good governance from our leaders. You know, the sense from that angle is high. You can imagine all these years we have been waiting for good governance. Stress in, stress out. They'll tell you they're going to build road, bring water, bring light. Nothing. You can imagine even the frustration on the issue of power sector. All hope to have everything done so that we have enough power for all investment to go into place, either little or big. Nothing. So the stress there is so huge that we are begging that the government will have to give us a relief. And there is a promise upon promise. We will always show our part by going to vote and the law abiding. But the other side of it will turn out that after 4 years, we will still go back to recycle and continue to recycle. So these elections will go around from bottom to top, that our leaders will be educated enough to know all these things. That like only money will not help us. It's killing people than at least they hope that people accept from there for good governance. So we hope that by the grace of God the situation will improve so that the masses will have a relief. Thank you.
All right, Sadiq, thank you. Okay, so doctor, we have Comrade Mamin Ndabun and Sadiq.
Yeah. Comrade Mohammed Ndabun commented on contentment. Yes. That's one of the way that an individual should learn to cope with stress. Now, when you find yourself in situations that you cannot change, you should learn to cope with that very situation. Try to see how you can be able to see this situation in a different dimension. But if you allow that situation to overwhelm you, you will end up putting yourself into unnecessary stress. That is where the contentment he's saying comes in. So it's very, very important we should learn to adjust to situations that we cannot be able to change. Accept situations the way they come and devise a way of coping with that very situation. Now, Sadiq, he made mention of some points, and those are pertinent issues that is really affecting a lot of individuals in Nigeria as a nation. So we are really hoping that the government in its goodwill will help us in addressing these social amenity issues that ought to be, that are necessity to the citizenry, so that people will be able to have a better life, will have good drinking water, will have adequate power supply to be able to meet up our needs as individuals.
Okay. Well, and that will just be about the size of it in the program Issues and Events this morning. And we've looked at our health status as a reflection of our nation's well-being. Dr. Raymond Duru, stress management expert, been talking with us this morning. Thank you, Doctor, for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
And to my colleagues here in the studios with me on